Greetings everyone. Welcome to our sixth session on the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. It has been an incredible journey so far, exploring the principles that shape power, that can shape influence and strategy. Each law we have discussed has revealed hidden truths about human behavior, human ambition, and the delicate art of control. Today, we step into another fascinating segment covering the laws from 31 to 35. These laws revolve around mastering influence, mastering perception, and most importantly, understanding the rhythm of power. We will uncover how leaders, strategists, and historical figures they have wielded these principles to their advantage. Sometimes rising to greatness, sometimes falling from grace. As we navigate through these 5 laws, remember, power is not just about dominance. Power is not just about dominance. It is about awareness, it is about patience, and it is about precision. The way we time our actions, the way we craft our image, and the way we control narratives, they can determine success, they can determine failures. So let's begin this session with keen minds and open perspectives, ready to dissect and apply these powerful insights. So today, this session, let's start from law number 31. Control the options, get others to play with the cards you deal. Robert Greene, in his book on strategy and power, it teaches us a fundamental law of influence. Control the options, get others to play with the cards you deal. This is not about manipulation, but this is about understanding human nature and positioning yourself to lead rather than follow. Life is a game of choices, but the most successful people, they ensure that no matter what choice others make, it benefits them. It benefits them. Imagine a chessboard where every move leads to the same outcome, that is your victory. That is the essence of this law. People love the illusion of choice. They want to believe they are in control, but true mastery lies in structuring situations so that every road leads to your desired destination. It is about setting the stage so skillfully that others, thinking they are choosing freely, they are actually stepping right into the path you designed for them. Look at history. Look at history and you will find countless examples of leaders who mastered this law. Ivan the Terrible, he understood it better than most. When his power was threatened by the Boers, he didn't fight. He didn't fight them directly. He controlled their options. He controlled their options by pretending to abdicate. He created a crisis where the people themselves demanded that he return with absolute power. The people thought they had chosen their leader. But in reality, Ivan had orchestrated the entire scenario. They felt ownership over their decision, and that made their loyalty unshakable. Even in modern politics and business, this law is at play. Think about a smart negotiator. Instead of asking, "Do you want to work with me?" They ask, would you prefer plan A or plan B? That question itself assumes collaboration. It's just a matter of which route to take. Both options serve the negotiator's purpose, and the other person never even considers saying no. This law also works in personal life. Parents use it with children. Do you want to do your homework before or after dinner? Either way, the homework gets done. Employees use it with their employees. Would you like to take on this project now or next month? Would you like to take this project now or next month? The employees feels in control, but the work is inevitable. A great leader does not impose control through brute force. They create environments where people willingly align with their vision. When you color the choices, when you make one path seem more attractive than the others, you ensure that others take the path you prefer without realizing they had limited options to begin with. This is not about deceit. It is about being strategic. When you understand human psychology, you can shape reality in your favor. Every great entrepreneur, a politician, and strategist, they have used this principle. Steve Jobs didn't just create products. He controlled the way people perceived them. He presented Apple as the only real choice, making alternatives seem outdated or less exciting. Consumers felt empowered. In their decision, but they were walking straight into the world he had designed for them. The key to mastering this law is subtlety. People must believe they are making independent choices. If they sense manipulation, they resist. But if they feel ownership, they embrace the path as their own. This is why skilled leaders, negotiators, and visionaries, they are always a step ahead. They don't force people into a corner. They make the options irresistible so that people willingly follow the intended course. The world rewards those who can guide decisions without appearing to control them, whether in leadership, whether in business, or in relationships. Those who master this law, they gain influence effortlessly. You don't need to fight for power. You just need to shape the choices so that power naturally gravitates towards you. That is the true art of influence. And those who learn it, they will always be the ones holding the winning hand. The world operates on choices. And those who control the available choices, they hold real power. The key is not to take away freedom, but to guide it in a direction that aligns with your goals. When people believe they are making their own decisions, they are more likely to comply willingly, even if the choices were subtly designed to benefit you. History provides remarkable examples of this principle in action. As we discussed, Ivan the Terrible of Russia, he faced significant obstacles. The powerful poets or noble class who resisted his authority. He understood that. He understood that confronting them directly, it would be a losing battle. So he controlled the narrative and he manipulated their choices. When he fell seriously ill in 1553, he asked the boys to swear loyalty to his young son. Their hesitation revealed their true intentions. When he recovered, he remembered who hesitated and who refused. Later, as tensions escalated, he staged a dramatic departure from Moscow, making the people believe they were abandoned to the boy's cruelty. The people in fear, they begged him to return, they begged him to rule absolutely. He agreed. He agreed, but only under his conditions. They accepted, believing they had made the choice, when in reality, Ivan had orchestrated the entire situation. He made them choose between chaos and his absolute rule, knowing that either way he would emerge as the sole authority. This law applies beyond politics. This law applies beyond politics. Look at modern day marketing strategies. Companies often present consumers with a choice between two products, both of which lead to their profit. When you walk into a fast food restaurant, you might be asked, would you like a medium or a large meal? The option of a small size is deliberately left out, nudging you toward spending more without feeling forced. The same happens in elections when political parties frame debates around only two opposing viewpoints, making it seem as if those are the only choices. The reality is that the full spectrum of possibilities is often hidden from view. In negotiations, skilled professionals, they use this technique to shape outcomes. Instead of asking, do you want to buy this product? They ask, which one? Would you prefer to pay in installments or in full? Would you prefer to pay in installments or in full? Which one you would prefer? That question assumes the sale has already been made and the customer is left choosing between two acceptable options, both benefiting the seller. This is the art of controlling choice. Understanding this law is not just about manipulating others. It is about gaining control over your own decisions. Too many choices, they can be overwhelming, leading to decisions fatigue and inaction. This is why successful people simply simplify their choices. They eliminate distractions and they focus on a clear set of options, ensuring that whatever they pick moves them closer to their goals. By structuring decisions in this way, they avoid the paralysis that comes from too many possibilities. The key takeaway from this law is that perception matters more than reality. People do not mind being guided as long as they feel they are in control. Creating a win-win scenario where others believe they are making independent choice is the ultimate strategy. When used wisely, this approach does not exploit, but it empowers. It empowers, ensuring that progress happens efficiently. The real power lies not in removing choices, but in shaping them so that regardless of what people choose. The outcome aligns with your objectives. Powerful leaders, great marketers, and master negotiators, they all use this principle. Those who can influence choices without making it obvious, they will always have the upper hand. Life is a game. Life is a game of options, and the one who deals the cards always wins. The question is, do you want to be the one playing with the deck handed to you, or the one controlling the deck? The choice is yours. So this is the 31st law. Now let's move to law number 32. Law number 32, play to people's fantasies. Robert Greene, in his book, The 48 Laws of Power, he reveals the art of influence, art of strategy, and art of human psychology. One of the most fascinating laws he presents is law number 32. Play to people's fantasies. This law is not just about deception, but about understanding the deep desires and dreams people hold. The truth can often be harsh and unbearable, and most people prefer the comfort of an illusion rather than facing reality. Those who master the art of tapping into fantasies, they wield great power. Let's see an example where playing to fantasies, it has changed destiny. Consider Il Brigadino, the so-called alchemist of Venice. At a time when the city was in decline, he arrived with promises of turning ordinary objects into gold. He lived a life of grandeur adorned with golden trinkets, giving the impression that he had discovered the secrets of wealth. People wanted to believe in his magic so desperately that they ignored reason. The mere idea of transforming poverty into prosperity was intoxicating. When doubts arose, he reassured them that waiting longer would bring greater rewards. And just like that, he kept the illusion alive, enriching himself while the masses clung to hope. His real alchemy was not in metals, but in manipulating human belief. This phenomena, it is not limited to history. Even today, marketers, politicians, and leaders, they use the same principle. The promise of quick riches, the promise of quick riches, overnight transformations, and effortless success, it sells better than the truth of hard work and persistence. Diet fads that claim to melt away weight in days. These schemes that promise financial independence in weeks, and advertisements that guarantee instant happiness, they all thrive on the same principle. People crave miracles. People want miracles, and those who can sell them, even in illusion, they gain control. However, playing to people's fantasies, it does not always mean deceit. Some of the greatest leaders, some of the greatest visionaries, they have used this principle for good. Martin Luther King Jr., he spoke of a dream, not a reality. His words painted a picture of equality and justice, and people followed him, driven by the hope of that vision. Entrepreneurs like Elon Musk, they present grand ideas, colonizing Mars, revolutionizing transportation, creating artificial intelligence-driven futures. Whether or not these ideas come to life exactly as promised, but they inspire millions, they fuel industries, and they push humanity forward. The ability to craft a compelling dream is a power that cannot be underestimated. The challenge lies in knowing the difference between manipulation and inspiration. Those who play to fantasies purely for personal gain without delivering substance, many rise quickly but fall just as fast. Brigadino deflated Venice when the illusion crumbled. Many con artists and false prophets, they have faced the same consequences, same fate. But those who blend vision with the genuine effort, they create lasting change. People will always seek something greater than their reality. They long for transformation. They long for adventure. They long for meaning. Those who understand this can lead this, they can inspire. They can lead and they can inspire and they can shape the world. Playing to fantasies is not about lying. It is about understanding what people need and offering them a dream worth chasing. And if the dream is backed by action, it becomes more than just a fantasy. It becomes a movement that can change lives. Look at the world around us. Everyone is glued to their screens, scrolling through tiny windows into other people's lives. People read. People read about what someone had for breakfast as if it mattered. They watch. They watch others travel. They watch others travel. They celebrate and they achieve while their own lives feel increasingly ordinary. The world has become smaller. The world has become smaller, confined to the size of a smartphone screen. In the past, life was filled with adventures. People traveled. People traveled across oceans. People fought battles. People risked their lives for something bigger. Today, there is no real danger. There is no real danger. No great adventure. So, what do people do? They turn to fantasy. They turn to fantasy. They seek an escape. Let's take an example of how fantasy has shaped power. Consider the story of Mata Hari. In 1905, Paris whispers spread about an exotic dancer from the island of Java. She captivated audiences with her mysterious Javanese dances, her veils, her jewelry, and her hypnotic movements. People were mesmerized. She gave interviews describing her royal lineage, her time in India, her horseback rides with a gun in hand. She was the talk of Europe, a symbol of intrigue and a symbol of seduction. But after First World War, when she was accused of being a spy and executed, the truth emerged. She was not Javanese, not a princess, and not even a trained dancer. She was simply a Dutch woman named Margarita. She was just a Dutch woman named Margarita Jella who understood the power of illusion. She knew what people wanted and she gave it to them. She played to their fantasies and in return gained power and fame. Some may argue that such deceptions would not work today. In the age of the internet, one Google search would have exposed Mata Hari, but those who think people want only truth and reality are mistaken. The need for fantasy has never been greater. Look around. Look around. Why do people consume endless romantic novels, fan fictions, and superhero movies like Avengers? Why do they immerse themselves in alternative realities from video games to social media personas? Fantasy is a necessity, and those who master it holds the power. The key to wielding this power lies in understanding the fantasies of the time. Every era has its own dreams. The 1960s, they were about free love and rebellion. The 1970s, they idolized nature and simplicity. The 1980s, they worshipped wealth and extravagance. Today, people dream of escape. Escaping the digital prison, escaping loneliness, escaping monotony. They long for experiences that feel real, raw, and thrilling. They crave adventure in a world that has become predictable. Those who recognize these desires and fulfill them rise above the rest. Luxury brands sell not just products, but dreams of elegance and dreams of exclusivity. Influencers craft lifestyles that others envy. Leaders promises visions of a better future. This is not manipulation. It is an understanding of human nature. The most successful people do not fight against fantasy. They embrace it and shape it to their advantage. The lesson here is simple. Do not sell reality. Sell the dream. Sell the fantasy. Find what people earn for and become the one who gives it to them. Power belongs to those who understand that humans do not live on facts alone. They live on hope. They live on illusion. They live on fantasy. Play to that, and you will hold the key to influence. That is the law number 22. And let's move to law number 33. Robert Greene, in his book, The 48 Laws of Power, he teaches us the importance of understanding human nature. And the law number 33, it is one of the sharpest tools in this arsenal. Discover each man's thumbscrew. It is a lesson in observation, a lesson in patience, and a lesson in influence. Every person, no matter how strong they appear, they have a weakness. It may be insecurity, a hidden desire, or an emotional need. The key to power is identifying that weakness and using it to influence or control the person. This principle is not just for historical figures or political leaders. It applies to everyday life. Whether in office, whether in business, or in social circles. Consider a workplace where a boss delegates work but takes credit for it. Complaining or confronting them, it might only lead to trouble. But understanding their weakness, perhaps their dependency on competent employees, it can turn the situation in your favor. By making yourself indispensable without appearing threatening, you create a dynamic where they rely on you, and eventually you position yourself for higher authority. People who recognize their superior's weakness and subtly play to them often find themselves rising. Rising faster than those who openly challenge authority. So, a personal story. A personal story highlights this role perfectly. A hard-working intern who overlooked and underpaid. He realized that his constant availability made him invisible. His boss took him for granted and colleagues dumped extra work on him. Instead of lashing out, he decided to take a planned options. When he left, the office fell into chaos. Tasks piled up, deadlines were missed, and people realized how much they depended on that person. When he returned, the respect and the appreciation he received were completely different. His absence made them recognize his true value. Understanding human nature is the foundation of influence. Some weaknesses, they are obvious. An inflated ego, an addiction to praise, a need for validation. They are the weaknesses. Others are hidden and they require careful observation. The key is not to exploit people cruelly, but to navigate power dynamics intelligently. Finding someone's thumb screw, it is not about manipulation for destruction. It is about positioning oneself strategically in a world that operates on influence. In every relationship, personal, professional, or political, power lies in understanding. Power lies in understanding the forces that drive people. Those who see the hidden vulnerabilities in others and act accordingly, they hold the real control. This is the essence of power. And those who master these, they can shape their own destiny instead of being shaped by others. We all wear armor. We put up walls around ourselves, trying to protect our emotions, our fears, and our past. These walls are designed to keep others from seeing our true selves. Yet behind each wall, there is a vulnerability. It's important to realize that while many people try to hide their weaknesses, it's precisely these hidden cracks that we can exploit to our advantage. This is not about manipulation, but it is about understanding human nature at its core. Consider this. Every person has moments. Every person has moments when they are most vulnerable. These are often subtle moments revealed through unconscious gestures. A slight change in voice or an unguarded comment. The more observant we are, the more we can learn about people. For example, someone who seems overly confident, he may actually have deep-rooted insecurities. The one who brags about their strength, they could be hiding fears of failure. A person who pushes people away, he might be desperately seeking love. All of these things, when observed carefully, they become opportunities to connect with them. And in doing so, they gain influence. When you are interacting with someone, look beyond the surface. People often reveal more about themselves in passing moments than they do in serious conversation. For example, in a conversation, if you want to understand someone's weakness, try listening with genuine interest. Try listening with genuine interest. This simple act, can encourage them to open up. Sometimes revealing things they didn't even realize they were sharing. Think about a time when someone made a casual remark about their childhood or a secret indulgence. These small details, they often tell you everything you need to know about what they desire or what they are missing in their life. Often we fail. Often we fail to recognize their vulnerability simply because we are too focused on ourselves or our own goals. But when we shift our focus, outward and take the time to truly listen and observe, we unlock the potential to connect with others on a deeper level. What about feeling emotional voids? Many people walk around feeling insecure or unhappy. They crave validation or seek ways to fill the emptiness inside. Those who are perpetually insecure, they are vulnerable to any form of social validation. Their emotional voids, they are like open doors. Waiting to be filled. By understanding what makes them tick, we can offer what they need, sometimes without even realizing it, and thus gain their loyalty or trust. The core of this lie is not about taking advantage of others. It is about understanding human nature and learning how to navigate the complexities of relationships. When we become aware of the emotional drivers behind people's actions, we can build stronger connections. We can build influence. We can influence others more effectively and lead with greater understanding. Remember, we all have a thumbs screw. Something in us that can be subtly pressed. If you can identify that in others, you gain the power to influence and guide them in a way that benefits both parties. It is about understanding, not exploiting. It's about connection. It's not about manipulation. When we take the time to learn about other weaknesses, we empower ourselves. We empower ourselves not only to achieve personal success, but also to build better, more meaningful relationships. Law number 34, be royal in your fashion, act like a king to be treated like king. Robert Greene, in his book, The 48 Laws of Power, he presents law number 34, be royal in your fashion, act like a king to be treated like king. This law highlights the importance of self-perception and the impact it has on how others perceive and treat us. History and human psychology, they prove that people respect those who carry themselves with confidence, with dignity, and a sense of purpose. If we act like we deserve greatness, the world often responds accordingly. Consider the example of Christopher Columbus. Despite his humble origins, he crafted a noble persona, convincing many that he was destined for greatness. He approached kings with audacity, made bold demands, and carried himself with the confidence of a royal explorer. Though he was a mere merchant, his belief in his own significance. It made others see him as someone worthy of power and privilege. His grand vision and self-assured demeanor ultimately secured him an audience with monarchs, leading to the historic voyages that reshaped the world. Many of us, however, do the opposite. We impose unnecessary limitations on ourselves, expecting less from life and accepting mediocrity. We hesitate, apologize for our ambitions. We apologize for our ambitions and shrink our desires to fit societal expectations. Instead of commanding respect, we blend into the crowd, afraid to stand up. But history favors those who dare to believe in their own significance. Those who demand greatness from life, they often receive it. There is a simple cause and effect principle at play here. If we believe we are destined for extraordinary things, this belief radiates outward. Others start to perceive us as valuable, competent, and worthy of respect. Our confidence influences those who are around us, and we find those opening where once there were walls. Even when we are practicing a form of self-deception, the world reacts to our projected confidence. The key to this strategy is not arrogance but dignity. Acting like a king does not mean looking down on others or humiliating others. It means carrying oneself with poise, making bold but justified demands, and refusing to settle for less. Arrogance breeds resentment, while true confidence inspires admiration. There are several ways to reinforce this royal demeanor. The Columbus strategy. It teaches us to set high expectations and never waver in our demands. The David and Goliath strategy. It suggests that by challenging the most powerful, we position ourselves as their equals. The gift strategy, it involves offering something valuable to those in power, subtly positioning ourselves as their peers rather than subordinates. These approaches, they create the illusion and eventually the reality of power. However, there is a danger. There is a danger in taking this too far. If we separate ourselves too much from the people, we risk alienation. If we seek to dominate through arrogance, we become targets of resentment. If we rely too much on an image without backing it up with substance, we risk exposure and downfall. Power must be wielded with wisdom. A regal demeanor is most effective when it is supported by genuine competence, effort, and integrity. In the realm of power, perception is reality. If we act like we deserve the best, the world is more likely to give it to us. Confidence, dignity, and bold self-belief, they create an aura of success that draws others in. Those who act like kings and queens, they find themselves treated as such. Not because of birthright, but because of the power. Because of the power of self-perception. Set your own value high and the world will take notice. Now, let's see the law number 35. Master the art of timing. Robert Greene, in his timeless wisdom, teaches us that mastering the art of timing is not just a skill, but a powerful weapon. Life is not a race, nor is it a random sequence of events. It is a dance, and those who understand rhythm, patience, and precision, they always emerge victorious. Those who rush, who seem desperate, who act without calculating the right moment, they expose their weaknesses. Time is not an enemy, it is a tool, a force that can be harnessed, that can be controlled. When we learn to observe, to wait, and to strike at the perfect moment, success becomes inevitable. When to speak and when to remain silent, when to fight and when to withdraw. Great leaders, great warriors, and thinkers, they have always recognized the power of patience. Christopher Columbus, he knew when to wait and when to act. Napoleon Bonaparte, he understood that time is a matter of perception. And by controlling emotions and by controlling reactions, one can stretch or shrink time itself. The greatest victories in history, they were not won by those who charged ahead recklessly, but by those who observed, who strategized, and who struck with precision. We often feel that time is against us, that opportunities, they are slipping away, that we must act immediately or be left behind. But the truth is, impatience is the enemy. Those who are desperate to prove themselves, to get ahead quickly, they often stumble because they do not recognize the right moment. They do not see that sometimes the greatest strength lies in restraint. The world moves in cycles. Trains rises, trains fall, opportunities come and go, opportunities come and opportunities go, and the wise learn to wait for the right wave to carry them forward. Mastering timing, it requires us to recognize the spirit of the times. What is happening beneath the surface? What forces are shaping the world around us? The true power lies not in reacting to what is loud and what is obvious, but in sensing what is hidden and what is emerging. It means not just riding the wave of change, but predicting where the next wave will rise. Those who understand this never get caught off guard. They do not panic in times of chaos. They do not act impulsively in moments of uncertainty. They remain steady. They remain watchful. They remain ready to seize the moment when it arrives. The secret to perfect timing is emotional control. Fear, anxiety, and excitement, they distort our perception of time. When we let emotions take over, time feels like it is slipping through our fingers. But when we remain calm, when we breathe, when we step back and observe, time slows down. It opens doors. It opens doors that seem closed. It reveals opportunities that were hidden and allows us to act with precision rather than desperation. Patience is not passive. It is not about doing nothing. It is about doing the right thing at the right time. It is about knowing when to lay low and when to strike. It is about using every moment wisely, even in waiting. Those who learn this art never fail. They move through the life with confidence, knowing that success is not a matter of speed, but of perfect timing. master time and you will master everything. If you master time, you will master everything. That brings us to the end of our 6th session on the 48 laws of power. Today, we have uncovered the subtle yet formidable forces behind timing, influence, and perception. From controlling the narrative to striking at the right moment. We have seen how power is not just about force but about kindness. The key takeaway for this session is those who rush, they lose control. Those who hesitate, they miss the opportunity. But those who master timing and perception, they stay ahead of the game. History has shown us time and again that patience, strategy, and awareness, they determine who rises and who falls. As you reflect on today's session, think about how these laws they play out in your life. Power is not just in politics or in leadership. It is present in every negotiation, every interaction, and every ambition. Thank you so much for your engagement in this session. Looking forward to our next session as we continue this journey of understanding power and mastering it all. Stay sharp, stay aware, and most importantly, stay in control. See you next time in the 7th episode. Bye. Thank you.